Free market science. Quote, any discovery which touches upon human creation is not simply a matter of scientific inquiry, it is a matter of morality and spirituality as well. Unquote. President Bill Clinton said that March 4th. There is something vitally important in the president acknowledging that human genetics research could become dangerous. Genetics is a moral issue, which is just to say that if we let something immoral like the free market get its greedy little paws into the stuff of life, that the greedheads everywhere will undoubtedly come up with some extremely objectionable way to make money. But why is it that the president doesn't say that medicine, which touches upon human creation, is also not simply a matter of scientific inquiry? It is a matter of morality as well. And what about food production? We have to eat. Of course, the issue is not really about science. Scientific inquiry is a good thing, and in principle should be encouraged unfettered by politics and economics. But herein lies the rub. Science, like the rest of society, is held hostage by greed, by the so-called free market. The president also said, quote, each human life is unique, born of a miracle that reaches beyond laboratory science, unquote. Or so some people would like us to believe. But the fact is, human life is cheap, very cheap. This situation is unconscionable, but inevitable in the world today. How then are we meant to decide which issues are a matter of morality and which are not? Can it be the case that any issues affecting the lives and well-being of human beings are not matters of morality? Justice is the issue which leaps to my mind in this context. Aren't issues of justice and fairness matters of morality? And what about healthcare, education, housing, clothing, food, and jobs? Are not these also matters of morality? My point here is that the president is being awfully selective in his judgment about what is and what is not a matter of morality. Why do you suppose that is? People do tend to get a little unnerved by cloning, and a lot of genetic research in particular. Is this because people do not think that scientists should play God? I don't think this is the real issue, because we play God with people's lives all the time, condemning some to degradation and suffering, others to opulence, some to death and destruction, others to prosperity. The problem with cloning is that nature took about 1 billion years to make people the way we are. We've discovered over time how complicated and various this arrangement is. We also know that there is something vitally important about variety for life. Cloning offers the potential for mind-boggling abuses, not the least of which is eugenics, let alone extinction. Cloning, though, is not really the cause of problems. Cloning can be the technology which is exploited by certain people or interests, who really are the cause of problems. Science is just knowledge, and knowledge can be used wisely or foolishly. Greed usually makes people foolish. Just look at the rainforests, if you can find one. Left unchecked, declining biodiversity will be the end of us all. The real issue is greed. So just how long can the president's restrictions on human cloning last? At what point will one of the private interests researching cloning for purposes of private profit take the president to court and assert that restrictions on science are restrictions on free trade, and thus illegal under the rules of the World Trade Organization? Or perhaps a private interest in laboratories in Chile will sue the White House claiming that restrictions on cloning are violations of Super NAFTA. Actually, all of that speculation is unrealistic. The president's ban on cloning research is merely a ban on the use of federal monies for cloning research. Private interests can and will do as they like. According to press accounts of the extent of cloning research going on in the world, most of the research is done for private gain. In the new world order of global free trade, even the President of the United States is powerless to prevent problems that he acknowledges are serious. And when the issue is life, then we all ought to be concerned about how the greedheads will exploit any technology. We live in a world where money rules, free trade is the religion, and profit is God. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Or maybe they do. This is Richard Curtis.